Hi, my name is Lisa McCoy, and I'm a Family and Consumer Sciences educator with the University of Maryland Extension. And I want to invite you to join me for a 30-day mindfulness challenge. Now, you may ask yourself, why would I do or should I do the mindfulness challenge? Well, in the next 30 days, you can learn to have an increase in the awareness of yourself and others around you. You also can take charge of the direction and quality of your life, and it also will help you to learn different techniques to deal with the stressors that we have in everyday life. I have been working with mindfulness and stress management for over 10 years, and I am excited to bring you this 30-day challenge. First, let's talk a little bit about what is mindfulness and what is it not. So first we'll talk about mindfulness is not the same as meditation. Meditation is just one technique of mindfulness, but there are many, many others, as you will find that we will have a different technique each day for 30 days. Mindfulness is not emptying those thoughts in your head, but it more is important about learning how to relate to those thoughts that you have going on in your head differently. Mindfulness is not only having positive thoughts. We would like to think that we could just not have negative thoughts, but that's not a reality. But we can become more aware of what those thoughts are that we have that we cannot control and learn how to deal with those a little bit differently so that we don't get frustrated. Mindfulness is not going to make all of your problems go away. It actually will just help us to look at those problems from a different perspective and maybe relate differently to those difficulties that happen in all of our lives. And finally, mindfulness is not some cult or something that's just for those new agers or those hippies from the 60s or spiritual followers. Actually, mindfulness, there's been a lot of research done about mindfulness, and it has a lot of scientific basis to it and evidence of its success that's been used in hospitals, universities, schools, businesses, and prisons. So mindfulness, getting down to it, really is pretty simple. It's being present in the moment and not judging yourself or others, but being intentional about taking time out of your day to be mindful. Actually, mindful helps us to shift out of that autopilot mode that we tend to get into in our daily lives. We often will react to a certain stressor or event the same way every time, and so we always get the same result, which may not be what we really would like to have. So when you have some mindfulness, you take time to step away from that and look at that instead of you responding the same way, but maybe be responding a little bit differently. And finally, mindfulness will help us to become more aware of that connection between our bodies and our minds. One of the pioneers that brought mindfulness practice to the Western world is Jon Kabat-Zinn. And he suggested certain attitudes that will actually help to support your mindfulness journey. The first one is to become an impartial observer. Now, what I mean by that is that we're going to be looking in from the outside and just noticing what's going on, not judging and not berating yourself, but just noticing. Another one is to have patience. Allow things to unfold in their own time and not rushing it. To be patient with yourself and with others. The third attitude is to have a beginner's mind. And you'll see that quote I have up there. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. So a beginner's mind is really trying to see things with fresh eyes instead of letting our beliefs, our opinions, and our judgments shape our experiences. Another one is to trust yourself. The goal really is to become more fully aware of who you already are, to trust your own experiences, your intuition, your goodness, and your wisdom as you go through this journey. Now, there is no endpoint or goal that we are striving for and then stopping once we have reached it. We are really just learning how to enjoy the journey of life and stopping to smell the roses and appreciate who we are and others are along the way. Mindfulness is acceptance, experiencing the reality of the moment instead of struggling of what we want it to be or how we want things to be differently, or just denying what the reality of the situation is. It does not mean that we can't change things, but we can actually make our decisions and our actions based on how things really are and what the reality of it is. And finally, we want the attitude of just letting go. This does not mean that you don't care, but just recognize if you're holding on to opinions, ideas, desires that we want or don't want in our lives. And just try to be more open to new ideas and experiences. So, are you ready to start your journey? Our mindfulness challenge begins July 15th and will go through August 13th. And each day, you will learn a new mindfulness technique. I will have a 5 to 10 minute video each day posted to explain and demonstrate the technique. I know that not everyone is going to like every technique and it's not going to work for everybody, but I do encourage you to try each technique at least a few times to see how it works for you. I want you to try to aim to practice some mindfulness 10 minutes at least, or up to 30 minutes a day. And it probably will increase as you get more comfortable with the mindfulness as the 30 days go along. So I hope we can begin the journey together. And the daily mindfulness videos can be found at these websites for Facebook and also a YouTube channel. So you can just click on those starting July 15th, and you will have our 30-day challenge there. I want to end with a quote from Jon Kabat-Zinn that I mentioned earlier. And his quote is, "Wherever you go, there you are." So being comfortable with who you are, because you have to live with that person. So just being comfortable with that, and wherever you are, go, there you are. And finally, keep remembering that your life is unfolding day by day, but I want you to enjoy the journey along the way.